Hello, my name is Gian Patrick Marcos.
And my name is Chelsea Paklabar. Okay, so we are going to start this video with a quick quiz. This painting that we are looking at currently, The Return of the Prodigal Son by Rembrandt, is associated with which artistic movement? Hopefully you're thinking that it's from the Baroque period. Rembrandt was also associated with the Dutch Golden Age, but that did not typically include religious or historical themes.
So what we are looking at right now is The Prodigal Son by the 17th century Dutch painter Rembrandt van Rijn. Painted in 1661 to 1669, the medium that was used here was oil on canvas. It was inspired by the story of the prodigal son in the Gospel of Luke. Rembrandt was somehow fascinated with this story, which inspired him to draw sketches of the event.
Let us now look at the characters in this painting. Here we can see the prodigal son resting his head on his father's chest. We have the brother, a mother figure which is hidden in the shadows, another man who might be an associate of the father, and a young boy who is dressed plainly like a household servant. This painting is full of depth and meaning and symbolism.
The father and son are the main characters and focal point of the piece. Here we can see that the brother is upset at what the father has done for his brother. His hands are folded in this manner, which implicates judgment toward his younger brother.
Both the older brother and father are wearing red cloaks on them, which is indicative of their wealth. Here the son is wearing ragged clothes, his sandals are torn, and his hair is bald.
What's interesting is that Rembrandt painted the father with two asymmetrical hands which show a masculine and feminine hand. The left masculine hand symbolizes the authority of the father. It is thicker and more defined. The grip is on the son's shoulder, which is what fathers do, while the feminine hand on the right is composed of more gentle features, thin long fingers, and it looks smoother. It is resting more on the shoulder blade like a mother's gentle touch. Those hands, both mother and father, represent the love and compassion of a God who can't be confined by gender roles or stereotypes, but who embodies the fullness of the good in us. Rembrandt uses his technique of emphatic chiaroscuro by contrasting light from dark.
This scene is determined wholly by the artist's inward vision of its life meaning. The light, everywhere mingled with shadow, controls the arrangement of the figures, illuminating the father and son and the witnesses behind them. According to Tansey and Kleiner, there is no flash or flitter of light or color. The raiment is as sober as the characters. Rembrandt showed in his piece that he has put the official Baroque style far behind him and has developed a personal style completely in tune with the Bible passage. Rembrandt carries over the spiritual quality of his religious works into his later portraits by the same means, what we might call the psychology of light. Light and dark are not in conflict in his portraits, but rather they are reconciled, merging softly and subtly to produce the visual equivalent of quietness. It relays tranquility which moves our emotion.
According to an online source, The Return of the Prodigal Son, painted a few years before his death, is perhaps Rembrandt's most moving painting. It is also his quietest, a moment stretching into eternity. Here, the wealth of human understanding accumulated over a lifetime of experience achieves a universal expression of sorrow and forgiveness. The second work of art addressed here, also in the Baroque period, is done by a highly influential artist named Peter Paul Rubens. The Garden of Love depicts the artist himself, his beloved wife Helen, and many couples surrounded by cupids in the scene that portrays the overflowing of love. His painting was produced around 1632, shortly after his second marriage, and is now found in Prado, Madrid.
Unlike earlier artists, Rubens preferred to design his paintings in terms of light and color from the very start. Here, a gathering of aristocratic-like lovers are overseen by Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, to celebrate his recent wedding. Couples play games in a lavish garden in front of a large stone building, while others stroll or listen to a singer accompanied by a lute player.
On the left, Helen and Rubens are being pushed by a cherub into a beautiful garden that is occupied by a group of well-dressed and vibrantly colored couples. One of Rubens' signatures in his work is the use of raw reds, which is clearly shown on one of his models. As you look closely, The scene forms a diagonal hierarchy across the composition, which is a key characteristic of Baroque art.
The cupids around the group carry symbols of conjugal love, including a pair of doves and the yoke carried by the cupid in the upper left part of the composition. The fountains or sculptures of the three Graces and of Venus nursing signifies fecundity and marital happiness, while the peacock symbolizes the goddess Juno, who protects matrimony. The individuals are overseen by a statue of the three Graces representing chastity, beauty, and love.
These artworks manifest the characteristic of the Baroque period, and both Rembrandt and Rubens well demonstrated the essentials of a classic masterpiece. Both are highly respected in this field due to their means of individuality and personal expression.